The boxing world is buzzing with anticipation as the rematch between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. approaches, now rescheduled for August 16, 2025, in Las Vegas. Their first encounter, a thrilling and controversial majority decision draw on March 1st, has sparked intense debate among fans, fighters, and analysts. The fight, which saw Roach push Davis to the brink, was marked by a contentious moment in the ninth round when Davis took a knee, an action many believed should have been ruled a knockdown. This incident, combined with the competitive nature of the bout, has fueled speculation about whether Roach can repeat or surpass his performance, or if Davis will return with a ferocity that has made him one of boxing's most electrifying figures. Davis, with an impressive professional record of 30-0-1 and 28 knockouts, is a lightweight powerhouse known for his devastating punching power and charismatic presence. Roach, the WBA super featherweight champion, holds a record of 25-1-2 with 10 knockouts and showed in their first fight that he could match Davis's intensity, if not his flair. Both fighters hail from the DMV area, adding a layer of local rivalry to their clash. Their shared history, dating back to amateur bouts where Davis emerged victorious, only heightens the stakes. Roach, however, proved in their professional meeting that he's evolved significantly, pushing Davis harder than any previous opponent. The first fight was a spectacle of skill and heart. Roach came out with what many described as his best performance, bringing an aggressive, calculated approach that caught Davis off guard. Observers noted that Davis, perhaps overly confident due to their past encounters, fought in a relaxed manner, not fully unleashing the explosive style that led to his eighth-round knockout of Frank Martin in June of the previous year. Martin, who faced Davis before Roach, commented to Fight Hype on June 9, suggesting that Davis was far more locked in during their bout than against Roach. He described the Davis-Roach fight as competitive, but felt Davis didn't fully exert himself, possibly underestimating Roach's resolve. Martin predicted that in the rematch, Davis would turn up, potentially securing a knockout. The controversy surrounding the ninth-round incident remains a focal point. Davis dropped to one knee and retreated to his corner, seemingly to address an issue with his eye, an action that violated boxing regulations but went unpenalized. Many fans and pundits argued this should have been ruled a knockdown, potentially swinging the fight in Roach's favor. The majority decision draw left both camps dissatisfied, with Roach believing he deserved the win and Davis's team insisting he did enough to retain his status. The incident has added fuel to the rematch, with Roach vowing to leave no doubt this time. Public sentiment leans heavily toward Davis, whose 93.3% knockout ratio and star power make him a favorite. Social media reactions to a recent training clip of Roach, shared by FightHub TV on Instagram, reflect this divide. The footage showed Roach working the heavy bag with sharp combinations and fluid movement, signaling his readiness. Yet, some fans dismissed his efforts, with one commenting, "Tank in 9, suggesting Davis would overpower him. Another user, while acknowledging Roach's skill and boxing IQ, still predicted a Davis knockout, stating, "Tank by KO RD6. He's not showing any love." Despite the skepticism, Roach has earned respect for his performance in the first fight, with one fan noting, "I'm a Roach fan now, but I'm still a Tank fan. Tank knocking him out in the next fight." Roach's trainer, Greg Hackett, emphasized the significance of the matchup for the DMV boxing community. Speaking to YSM Sports Media, Hackett described it as a good fight that might not capture casual fans due to Roach's lack of flamboyance compared to fighters like Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney. He noted that Davis brings a certain flair with his tattoos, intense demeanor, and theatrical entrances, while Roach's laid-back personality doesn't project the same intimidation. However, Hackett stressed that Roach's skill and championship pedigree make him a formidable opponent. Both fighters have faced Hector Garcia, providing a common benchmark, and Hackett argued that dismissing Roach as a lesser challenge ignores his proven ability. The rematch was initially set for June 21 but was postponed, with industry insiders pointing to either T-Mobile Arena or MGM Grand Garden Arena as likely venues. The delay has only amplified the hype, giving both fighters additional time to refine their strategies. Roach, aware of the skepticism, acknowledged in an interview that he has room to improve. When asked if he faced the best version of Davis, he admitted that Davis might have more gears, but maintained he fought a strong version of him. Roach's focus is on creating separation in the rematch, pushing himself harder in training to avoid another close decision. Davis, meanwhile, remains confident. In discussions about the first fight, he dismissed the notion that he has something to prove, stating, "What he proving? He ain't lose. His team and supporters argue that the draw doesn't diminish his dominance, pointing to his performance against Martin as evidence of his peak form. That fight, considered by some to be Davis's finest, saw him dismantle an undefeated opponent with precision and power. The contrast between that bout and the Roach fight has led to speculation that Davis may have underestimated Roach, a mistake he's unlikely to repeat. The boxing world's fascination with Davis extends beyond his in-ring exploits. Earlier this year, rumors swirled about a potential exhibition bout against YouTuber-turned-boxer Jake Paul, who was seeking a high-profile payday. Paul claimed negotiations with Davis were nearly finalized, but the rematch clause with Roach took precedence. Paul, fresh off a unanimous decision victory over an aging Mike Tyson and preparing for a June 28 fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., suggested a Davis fight could happen at 195 pounds, a significant jump from Davis's usual 135-pound lightweight division. Fans ridiculed the idea, with one commenting, "Tank moving from 135 to 195 is just pure insanity." Another accused Paul of begging for a payday from the face of boxing, reflecting the disdain many purists have for his presence in the sport. Paul's boxing journey, marked by fights against non-ranked opponents like Tyson and a loss to Tommy Fury, contrasts sharply with Davis's established credentials. The idea of an exhibition, potentially unsanctioned due to the weight disparity, was dismissed by some as a publicity stunt. Yet, Paul's persistence in pursuing high-profile names like Davis and Canelo Alvarez keeps him in the conversation, even if it draws ire from traditionalists who view him as a clown making a mockery of boxing. Back to the rematch, the narrative centers on whether Roach can capitalize on his near upset. His performance in the first fight defied expectations, showcasing his evolution from their amateur days when Davis dominated. Roach's ability to counter Davis's speed and power, combined with his resilience, makes him a unique challenge. Some argue he's a stylistically difficult matchup for Davis, who thrives against opponents he can overwhelm early. Anthony Darrell, speaking to YSM Sports Media, scored the first fight as a draw but predicted Davis would adjust and secure a victory in the rematch. He acknowledged Roach's ability to counter effectively but believed Davis's experience and adaptability would prevail. The betting odds and fan predictions favor Davis, but Roach's supporters point to his training clip as evidence of his preparation. Critics of the clip, however, were unimpressed, with one user noting, "I love Roach, but his punches are kind of funny looking." They conceded that effectiveness matters more than aesthetics, a sentiment echoed by others who respect Roach's grit but doubt he can overcome Davis's power. The consensus among Davis's fans is that he'll approach the rematch with heightened focus, unwilling to let another close call tarnish his reputation. The personal dynamic between Davis and Roach adds intrigue. Their long-standing friendship and shared history mean they understand each other's tendencies intimately. This familiarity could lead to a tactical chess match, with Roach aiming to exploit any complacency from Davis. The first fight suggested Roach has closed the gap from their amateur days, but Davis's knockout prowess remains a looming threat. As one fan put it, if Roach wasn't as good as he was, Tank would have steamrolled him. The rematch's outcome hinges on several factors: Davis's ability to regain his sharpness, Roach's capacity to elevate his performance, and whether the controversy of the first fight influences the officiating. The boxing world is divided, with some seeing Roach as a legitimate threat and others viewing Davis's dominance as inevitable. As August 16 approaches, the question isn't just who will win, but whether Roach can once again defy the odds or if Davis will deliver the statement performance his fans expect.